At the outset, could I welcome you, Minister, and say that you are really on top of this issue and have moved so quickly and within days of your appointment. And that is absolutely admirable, and it's typical of you. And I know that you're genuinely empathetic and actually concerned about the people there and trying to resolve it, and I appreciate that. And please God, knowing your farm, you will succeed, hopefully, ultimately in resolving it. I again join with my colleague Senator Kine in congratulating Senator Aisling Dolan and Senator Eugene Murphy on their persistence on this matter, and can indeed concur that Senator Dolan raises this regularly in our parliamentary party meeting. I also acknowledge the contributions of our independent colleagues, and indeed Senator Byhan's visit there. I want to say that I know a lot of people around this area. My mother-in-law was actually born in this area. Her brother is one of the affected people, Edward John Beattie and his wife Teresa, and the Beattie families are all related. And in fact, Lawrence Fallon, Councillor Lawrence Fallon, and his lovely Cavan wife, he showed great judgment in that department. His lovely Cavan wife are particular friends of mine for a long time, and so I know that community well. It covers the townlands of Rahara, of Bala, of Lisfale and Inchcrico. Aisling and Eugene will correct the pronunciation. Guthrie, Carrickbeg, Carrick, Kildorney and Listerfield. They're very beautiful names, but that's not much good if you're living in a flooding condition. It seems that since 2016, the Turlough has been, traditionally would have dried up, but it is not draining as it did previously, and the water levels are currently at their highest recorded level. And they've peaked at new recorded levels in 2022. Now, I gather there's been objections to, and I think it was cited by Senator Murphy, there have been objections to the proposed solution of the piping out of the water. But in actual fact, the irony or the paradox or the conundrum here is that the very objective of the objections is not served, in the sense that the actual flooding has destroyed the wildlife, the fauna, the natural environment, the biodiversity of the area. So contrary to achieving some sort of an environmentally friendly objective, it's the opposite, because it's preventing a situation where the draining could be done and you could have biodiversity and you could have natural life and the beauty of the area. So it's totally perverse. We are in that space, but I would urge the Minister with the AG to see where we can go there. I mean, the idea of taking the water underground to the Shannon is a reasonable temporary solution. I should have mentioned when I was naming people around there too, that my wife's first cousin, Mary Lyons, and her husband, Rory, had to move to Athlone, had to leave actually the area. I see Senator Murphy nodding, he would have known them, but they had to actually up and go to Athlone, which is dreadful. So I suppose, Minister, what we're urging you is to do what you're trying to do, and to go on doing what you're trying to do, is to resolve the matter, to talk with the AG, to look at legalities around it. Obviously it's a pity that there's a preventing of the piping of the water underground down to the Shannon. One of the other paradoxes around this is that there are so many areas in the country that in certain circumstances could do with this water, you know. So there is no logic in the position of halting it. But I see where you're at, where this is all very difficult, because the courts are an independent, as they should be, entity, and it's quite a conundrum. It's quite a circular situation. If somebody goes to the courts, they block it, and then, but you would have to appeal to environmentalists, in inverted commas, who they have a weird kind of a concept of the environment if they're allowing one environment to be completely destroyed, but that they would please, if you like, desist or withdraw their objections. But that's probably not a very, I wouldn't be optimistic about that, but we can only hope if they could be reasoned with as well. So it's a question of an engineering or a legal solution or a combination of solutions. And I don't know, I was down recently and I met Lawrence and Bernie Fallon, the councillor, and his Cavan wife from Crosskeys, and we sat and we discussed it. And I mean, it's coming up quite close to them at this stage, or was even then, maybe worse now. It's a horrendous situation, and look, Minister, I just want to lend my voice, and you know, it's a lovely part of Ireland, and I know all the people there, and I do appreciate, I'm very impressed that my colleagues are taking, the constituency colleagues, they're well represented there, when the two people in front of me are taking this the way they're taking it. None of us, the rest of us needn't come in at all, but it's good to support them. Thank you.